I run an SMMA that's set to do 120K in May. If you watch my videos regularly, I'm not trying to brag. I say that because new viewers, it attracts them, it gets their attention, it makes them watch more of the video and stick around, just to be super clear. But one of my best friends, he's an engineer. He's worked at NASA, he's worked at MIT, electrical engineer, PhD, finishing his PhD right now, he's starting a business as well. Crazy guy. Why am I bringing him up? I got this video idea from him, totally ripped it off of his channel, told him I was gonna do it. He was cool with it. Look up Ali the Dazzling on YouTube, real smart guy, but his content's more for engineers, so there's that. But either way, want to flat out rip this entire video idea from him top down because it's amazing, and I experienced everything he's talking about in that video in SMMA, and I thought it was a really good thing for me to talk to you guys about that you'd get a lot of value from. So shout out to him for the video idea, but I thought SMMA was really hard until I learned these 5 things. Now, number 1, SMMA was hard because I thought it was hard. Your mind is way more powerful than you might think or might know. Whatever you think to be true, you see to be true in the world, right? So it's kind of like seek and you shall find in a sense, where if you think it's hard, you're going to be constantly looking for how it's hard. But I used to think it was hard. I was like, this is so hard. It's, cold emails, hard to get, positive responses, or, it's hard to get a lot of sales calls. And that's constantly what I was finding. And so the dangerous thing about thinking that it's hard is that you don't behave in the same way as you behave when you think it's easy. Now I think it's easy, I behave very differently. I make plays with more confidence. I do things that are a little bit more, I guess, maybe not outlandish, but out there. I try new things. I'm not afraid. And there's a really big difference when your mindset is this is difficult versus this is easy, or this is at least absolutely achievable. I think is a good place to start, right? If you, put certain results such as 10K a month, 30K a month, 50K a month, 100K a month on a pedestal, then what happens is you separate yourself from that result, and you start to just again think of like why it's so difficult to get there. And this also makes you getting there take way longer as well. Number 2, expect to suck. I used to be a massive perfectionist, and I thought I was just gonna walk in, everything was gonna be beautiful and easy, because I worked with a couple realtors in person, and they went and made money super quick, and I just thought it was gonna be I thought I was going to be amazing off the bat. I was so wrong. There were so many skills I needed to learn. And one perspective I want to share on this topic is the fact that you're building a stack of skills. You're not building one skill. So let's pretend you want to be a software engineer, and you want to do back-end software engineering. There's one skill you need to learn, maybe 2, like interviewing could be another one, to get into good companies. But if you're just like an insane back-end software engineer and you do side projects and you have some crazy stuff to show on your resume, then it's pretty easy for you to get a job, right? And then you get really, really good at that one thing really fast. Let's say you spend 40 hours a week doing it, 160 hours a month, however many hours that is in a year, I'm too lazy to count. 1600 plus 320, 1920, call it that. You're gonna get good pretty quick. But if you're learning 4 skills at the same time, it's gonna take you 4 years to get good at all 4 of those skills, or as good at all 4 of those skills as you would take 1 year, I can't talk, to get at one skill. It takes 4 times longer. It's bear with me. And just think about starting playing a new video game, starting a new hobby, a new sport, whatever it is. You suck in the beginning, you're gonna suck in multiple areas in SMMA when you're starting out. That's normal, like that is mandatory. Unless you're like insanely gifted in multiple different skill sets, you're gonna struggle, and most people struggle, and that's just how it is, and that's perfectly fine. So the earlier you learn this and can accept it, because learning and acceptance are 2 completely different things. If you can learn and accept this early on, then you'll just have a way easier time mentally going through the hardships, struggling, being bad, right? Like it just becomes so much easier if you are aware of it and can accept it. The third thing is find others to work with. And this is something that I actually learned primarily from Mr. Beast. If you've ever watched any of his interviews, you'll know this about him, but one of the things that he did early on in his YouTube career, maybe halfway through his YouTube career, is he found 3, 4, 5 people who were equally obsessed as him when it comes to creating YouTube videos. And they would nerd out. He's talking to these people. Some days he was saying he'd wake up, 7 a.m. and be on one Skype call with some of these guys for 18 hours straight and then go to bed and do it again. Now, I can't say I've done that. I'm not that extreme, but at the same time, when I joined some, coaching programs, communities, and, I had other people reach out to me and I was making posts in these communities and, made some friends, it just becomes so much more fun. Like, it's very lonely being an entrepreneur if you don't have anybody around you. And that was something, if I could go back and change the way I'd done things, I would have actually reached out to more people and been intentional about making friends, because I was thinking that, I can figure this all out on my own. And that's true, but it's so much faster. Like what Mr. Beast says is, you can fail 3 times faster if you have 2 other people that you're talking to, right? You screw something up, he screws something up, he screws something up, or she does, and then you learn from all of them and you all just get better way, way, way faster. 4 people, 5 people, it expands, right? And not to mention, if you pay a coach to do something, I'm not trying to sell you coaching right now, but if you, pay some type of coach to do something, then like you can learn from all of their mistakes just in one shot and shortcut a whole lot of, mistakes and errors that people often make. At the time of me recording this, I don't have any spots opening for coaching. I'm not trying to sell you anything right now. But what I'm saying is, if you meet people, you'll learn together, you'll fail together, you'll grow together, and you will actually accelerate your growth rate and just have so much more fun. Number 4 is not feeling like you have to get to a certain revenue number within a certain time frame. If you do that, I did this for a very long time, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm still pulling myself out of that. Things are really good right now, and it happens in waves. Totally a side conversation, but one of the things that I learned, which is kind of a bonus for this video, it's not really relevant, but one of the things I learned is that in changing habits, you'll slowly do the things and then you'll slip out of them, you'll come back into them, you'll slip out of them, come back into them, and then over X amount of time, you'll go from not doing the habit to doing the habit consistently, where you'll fall out of it a couple times, and that's perfectly fine. Building habits, that helps too, bonus, cool. But if you say, I have to hit 10K per month in the next 6 months, it just causes you problems, to be honest. Like, you don't have to. I mean, maybe you do require it for some, pressing financial situation, but most of my viewers, when I ran the stats, like 80% of you guys were like under 23 or something like that. Like, let's be real. Most of us don't have this, burning urge to make 10 grand a month right now. It's just attractive. So don't tell yourself you have to, because time flies. Time accelerates as you age, and things just go faster and faster. So if you can let go and steer the ship, course correct, rather than force things to happen. You can't force things to happen. Things are going to happen that are outside of your control. That's inevitable. I had control issues. Definitely had control issues. But it's a matter of accepting reality, which is things may not go your way, and being aware that of the fact that you're going to face problems. That is inevitable. So that way you don't get burnt out, right? You get burnt out when you expect perfection and then you experience reality. Experience versus reality. That's why people say it, right? So don't focus on having to reach a certain revenue number within a given time frame. Same applies to, for example, client results. Different, there's tons of different metrics you can just screw yourself with. Cold email response rates, by giving yourself an arbitrary deadline. You'll be less creative, and I don't know. Maybe it works for some people, doesn't work for me, doesn't work for the people I know. And then the 5th and final thing is learning how to focus. Now, I've got a couple videos on, how you can increase the amount of hours you're working in a day, how to basically be more efficient with your time, more productive. It'll be on the screen, I think here. You can go and click that and watch that. Hopefully this was a good video for you.